There was a party all night long in Nashville last year. Diego Pavia leading Vandy to the shocking upset win over then number 1 Alabama. The two sides will run it back again this year, but this time both squads are ranked in the AP poll when they face off for just the second time ever. For the first, you have to go back to 1937 as the tail of the tape looks a little bit like this entering the game. Vandy trying to get to 6-0 to start a season for the first time since 1928. You'll remember they won 40-35 in a high-scoring shootout. But look at it for Alabama as the game is in Tuscaloosa. They are 11-1 in their past 12 home games against AP-ranked teams and are a favorite by double digits as we get set for Saturday, 3:30. To help prepare us even more and take some more steps into it, we bring in Mike Rodak, who covers Alabama for 24/7 Sports, and Chris Lee, who covers Vandy, also for 24/7. Mike, I want to start here because last year Vandy shocked everyone. We saw the goalposts getting taken out of the stadium and all of that celebration as they never trailed en route to the win over the then number 1 Alabama Crimson Tide. But this year, I feel like you can't overlook the doors anymore, can you?
Right, yeah, it's definitely a situation where they know what Vandy can do. And in fact, Alabama players are saying that Vandy is better than what they were last year. And it's probably true based on what we've seen. You know, they're one of the best offenses in the country in particular. So it's definitely not a game that will sneak up on Alabama. At the same time, I think they're also trying to not play too much into the revenge factor or trying to prove something to Vandy or trying to get too far in their heads about that part of it. Because that's kind of what happened in week 1. I mean, Tommy Castellanos did a lot of talking before that Florida State game. Alabama players said that disrespect will be addressed accordingly, and they just fell completely flat in that game. So really the focus for Alabama and what players have said this week is just continue to play with a chip on their shoulder, continue to play like the team that just won against Wisconsin and at Georgia, and not worry quite as much about Vanderbilt. There's about 25 players on this Alabama team that played in last year's game. They certainly remember it. They know the feeling. I think they want to change the outcome. And as Ty Simpson said this week, they don't want to make the same mistake twice. But this is an Alabama team that I think just needs to focus on what they're doing play after play and not worry too much about the opponent.
Yeah, I think Mike is right in his take. I think Vanderbilt is better this year, probably 10 points better than last year. And Clark Lee said in his press conference on Tuesday, I think Alabama's better too. And I think he's right if this team plays to its ceiling. I guess we have some questions about that coming in a few weeks. We've got Florida State on one end, and then we've got the games that Alabama's played since, in which it's looked pretty impressive. But I think this is probably more of a fair fight on paper coming in than it was a year ago.
So now we get ready for this game, and you look at, for the Alabama side, that after that loss to Florida State, I feel like I saw a lot of folks talking about how Ty Simpson wasn't that guy. But you look at his numbers since, in totality for the whole year, he's tied for the most passing TDs with 11 of them without an interception in FBS play this year. Mike, how high is that confidence level for him right now?
It's definitely higher than it was against Florida State. I think Ty, and he said this too, he made too much of that first start. He made it into something bigger than what it should have been. And you could really feel that game speed up for him. Florida State got after him. I think it was about 19, 20 pressures they had on him. He was not comfortable inside the pocket. When he got outside the pocket against Florida State, he didn't know whether to run, whether to pass. And really, these past 3 games, he seems much calmer. He's better with staying in the pocket, finding his receivers. He's a very accurate passer when he has time to throw. And, the pressure has not been as great on him from the opposing teams. Georgia's pass rush is probably one of their bigger weaknesses. So we'll have to see as the season goes along, if there's teams with better pass rushes that they'll see. It might be Vandy, one of those, how he handles some of that pressure on him. But right now, it's a very cool, collected Ty Simpson. He has a great group of receivers around him. And right now, it's just get the ball to them, put it in their hands, and let them make the plays.
Yeah, I've been asked a few times, what is the key to this one? I've probably got 3 things I would circle. And I think Ty Simpson and Alabama's downfield passing game are a big concern. Really for anybody that Alabama would play right now. They haven't turned the ball over all season. Obviously, they have some weapons in Ryan Williams and Jeremy Bernard and guys like that. And his ability to get the ball to them with accuracy has been phenomenal. There hasn't been much to circle in terms of concerns for Vanderbilt so far in terms of results, but you have seen them get burned downfield in the passing game here and there by Georgia State and Utah State the last couple weeks. Now, some of that might be playing third and second teamers and sometimes even fourth teamers when some of those scores were put on the board. But at the same time, they have not played a receiving core like this, and I think it's going to be incumbent on Vanderbilt's pass rush to get home, to give Simpson less time to throw, because I think if you let him sit back there, they've got guys that can run away from you and pick you apart.
Vandy's the team trying to start 6-0 for the first time since 1928. And Chris, you look at Vandy, a lot of times people might say, oh, we'll circle it, we'll make it our homecoming game, we'll make it light work, we don't need to worry about this. But these aren't your dad's doors anymore, because that 7-6 record from last year doesn't seem like it's a fluke at all, and that they are trending upwards.
Yeah, and look, they have not played a team like the one they're going to see. And maybe we kind of dismiss the Virginia Tech and South Carolina wins on the road a little later, as maybe those teams aren't as good. And that might be true. South Carolina's played a little better since, though. And maybe Vanderbilt just made them look bad. I think it did have a lot to do with them. But, yeah, I think there are two places where they're better. On both lines of scrimmage, especially the offensive line, they were a lot better than they were a year ago. Frankly, I don't think they should have – it was a miracle they won 7 games a year ago, because their line play was not good, and they didn't have a lot of explosive guys to get the ball to. Now they've got Trey Richardson, who wasn't there a year ago, was a track guy in JUCO. Eli Stowers is a year better. Junior Sherrill is a year better. Martell Hyde is a guy they use on offense now. They've got some speed around them that they didn't have, and I think the combination of much better protection and much better run blocking and better targets for Diego Pavia kind of makes them pretty scary.
Mike, so we look here at this game, and of course, as Vanderbilt is trying to show that they are not a team to be taken lightly at all. For you, what storyline is not being talked enough about with this game?
Yeah, I mean, Alabama's defense on paper, you could say they gave up 21 points to Georgia, but I would have some concerns about this Alabama defense right now. They're pretty banged up. They just lost one of their starting outside linebackers in Quay Rusa for potentially a pretty long time. They have another linebacker who's down. They have a defensive tackle who's out for the year. They have some guys banged up elsewhere. So right now they're digging deep on their depth chart, and it worked against Georgia. They were able to hold on in that game. But Vandy's probably a better offense. I would say definitely a better offense with what they've shown so far this year. And the secondary has not been tested for Alabama. There's only 17 pass attempts against them per game this year. That's the fewest against any team in 4 years in college football. So, Diego Pavia has gotten better as a passer. He's one of the higher passer efficiency ratings of college football so far this year. So there's some dangerous qualities in this game. And this Alabama defense, I could see giving up some points in this game. I think it's more about what the offense does for Alabama.
Chris, what about you? What storyline would you say is not garnering enough attention as we get ready for it?
Yeah, I'm not sure how strong Alabama is on special teams. I probably need to dig in a little bit more there, but Vanderbilt is really good. They've got a field goal kicker who I don't think has missed a field goal in like a year or close to it, and he can hit from probably 60, maybe further if he had to. Their punting game is always good. They're well coached on special teams. They've got back the kick return and the punt returner, who both brought one back for a score a year ago. So that's a place where they gain a little bit of some hidden yardage here and there just with field position. I think that's a thing that you never know when that's going to pop.
Mike, to your point that you made about Diego Pavia, he has the 5th best passing efficiency in the country this year, so he has been very good and very solid. But from the storylines to Vandy trying to come in and do one thing or another, we got to get to the nitty-gritty of it all. Mike, I'll ask you this question first. Who wins on Saturday?
I have Alabama. I don't think they cover the spread. I think the 10.5 point spread is a little high on this one, but I can see Alabama putting up enough points to outscore Vandy. And I think that's what this game is going to have to be, is more of a shootout. And it's something that where Alabama needs to come out and do what they did against Georgia. You win the game with your receivers and all the talent that you have in that room. Georgia had a really hard time covering all 4 of those guys for Alabama. I think Vandy could have even a tougher time. So that's how you win this game if you're Alabama. If you go out and play at home like they have for a long time now, Alabama's 113-6 since 2008 at home, then I think you're in good shape. It's just I think Vandy's going to put up some points against you too. Like I said, this Alabama defense is hurting right now, and James Smith is another guy I forgot to mention earlier. He's out for the first half of this game because of a targeting call, a defensive tackle. So I can see Vandy putting 30, 35 points on the board pretty easily, but Alabama is also capable of putting 40 points on the board, and I think that's where the final score will end up.
Yeah, I see it a lot like Mike does. I think Vanderbilt is good enough to go down there and win, but Alabama was a team that I picked as my national title team in the preseason for a lot of reasons, one of which was another year Ryan Grubb, who I think has just been outstanding. Ty Simpson's playing well. I am concerned that just little flashes I've seen of the downfield passing game, those could give Vanderbilt trouble. I think Alabama wins, maybe a 38-31 type game, but yeah, I think there's going to be some scoring in this one, and I think both teams are going to really test the other ones with those offenses.
Vandy is 1-17 against Alabama when playing in Tuscaloosa all time, so they have that going up against them as we get ready for Saturday, 3:30 in Tuscaloosa. Mike Rodak and Chris Lee, thank you so much. We appreciate it, getting us set for that game on Saturday, and you can get ready for every game on Saturday and just get college football news throughout the week by hopping over to the YouTube page for CBS Sports College Football. Subscribe, get that info.